everybody, it's Lynn Forsyth here, and I am going to show you my latest exploration using my gel press. Now, I have this really awesome 12 by 12 gel press. I love it to pieces because I get a full 12 by 12 print, but I've been working with it totally just using acrylic paints. Until I saw somewhere where they were like, oh yeah, you can use mists on those, and I'm like, you what? So I pulled out some of my Tattered Angels Chalkboard Glimmer Mist to give it a shot, along with a couple different colors of Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. Now I put down, as you could see, a very thick layer of the chalkboard, and then I just splattered on some various colors, and I did my pull gently pushing on the paper, because I found if you push hard you get these lines, whereas if you gently let the color move underneath your paper you get more of this watercolor effect here. So then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to make Valentine's cards out of these. So it, of course, knowing me, it's got to have some texture to it. So I pulled out a jar of the Crafters Workshop modeling paste and one of their stencils, and I just began spreading it through the stencil like it was just frosting. And the thing that you have to remember is you don't want to push really hard. You kind of want to float that palette knife over top, otherwise you get a gush, which, can I tell you, I always get gushes. So anyways, yeah, you can see a few of them there, and I loved it, but it wasn't quite enough, so I pulled out a few more Crafters Workshop stencils, and this time I kind of filled the whole paper with it, knowing that I was going to be cutting these into smaller shapes. So I just continued to run that process of putting the modeling paste through the stencil back and forth, and over to the side I do have some paper set over there because you can see there's all kinds of modeling paste all over this stencil when I get done. So I just can't throw that good stuff away. So I have a piece of paper over on this side that I use as kind of my wash off. Now I decided I was going to do another sheet of paper, but this one I wanted to be lighter. So you're going to notice that my spots coming out of the pipette aren't as big as they were last time. So, and then I got a little bit of purple and we splattered that on there, just little dotsy dots. And then I believe I'm going to go in and do another whole layer of the chalkboard. Now I do have to tell on myself and say that I really have not spent a lot of time exploring Tattered Angels Chalkboard Glimmer Mist. I've spent a lot of time working with the Glimmer Mist. I had a really long session there of using Glimmer Glam, and now I am experimenting with this chalkboard, and can I tell you, I am absolutely and totally in love with these. It's just the chalky finish that you get when you use this product with just a light sprinkling of glimmer in there, which when you put a stencil over top of this for using a different technique, you get these amazing puddles of the glimmer. So as you can see right here, I'm just picking up my gel press and wiggling it here and there to try to get some of those colors to move around and to give it a totally different look. Not wanting the really saturation of color, but really wanting a muting. So we're going to do one more pull here using Canvas Corp Ivory cardstock, which is 80 pound. And I'll tell you, I love this stuff because I can throw all that liquid on it and it's fabulous. Look at it, pretty much flat. So now this time when I applied my modeling paste, I decided to do it in a slightly more random fashion, not using the entire stencil to get the entire image of the stencil. So I'm just randomly running that through to get another sheet of beautiful watercolor, beautiful watercolor looking paper, which I wanted to use on my love card. So after I did all this, of course, everything had to be dried and then cut into pieces. And then I ran it through my die cut machine. And I believe this is an old Sizzix heart die. So there's a couple different shapes on it. So I cut a couple of those out. And you can see here that what I've done is I've mixed the Glimmer Mist with the chalkboard to kind of give a little bit of definition to the edges of my hearts. I wanted them to pop up off the paper, and when I just used them paper on top of paper, it was too flat. So you can see I've got a couple puddles which basically consist of the chalkboard chalk with various Glimmer Mist colors added in. So, and I did this on both the background paper and the hearts. So I just kind of like my things to have definite edges to it. It just makes them stand out so much better on their own. So you can see I'm really doing this very technically, sticking my hand in it and just rubbing it around. And when I find out that maybe I've put too much color in a space, you can just take a little bit of the chalkboard Playin, as I'm doing right here, and go back over that spot where maybe the color was just a little too dark for my liking. So that's what we did here, and I'm gonna pop dot things and dry things, and then I use my Impression Obsession stamps by Yvonne Blair, and this is the Everyday Quotes 2 that I'm going to use on these, because as you know, if you know my work, it always has to say something. Now you can kind of see there in that stacked heart over there that I've got a little bit of cheesecloth that I pulled apart to stick underneath it to give it just a little bit more texture. You know, gotta have just that little extra on there. But anyways, this is how I put my beautiful love cards together. And you know what? It doesn't require a Valentine's Day to say to people that you love them. Something that can just be sent randomly just to say, I love you more, and it means the world. So once again, people, thank you so much for dropping by to watch my little exploration of Chalkboard Glimmer Mist on my gel press. Stop back by again.